Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly review Popup Dungeon. This is a game that you can find on Steam for about 25 bucks. I recently streamed this one for about an hour, and I wanted to release sort of like a follow-up video to it, because let's face it, a lot of you don't have an hour to watch a video to see if a game is any good. I can understand that. I'm a busy guy myself. So I will just keep this brief. But I will come out and say that Popup Dungeon is quite fun. It's for those with an imaginary mind. If you're going into this expecting some kind of epic Dragon Age, great graphics, great story experience, then you're going to be somewhat disappointed. What this game does offer is a huge selection of tools. Think of it as a sandbox. The game gives you all of these cool things. You've got custom created characters that are right out of the box, so you can pick them and play. There are cards that you can pick and play. There's various items and enemies and all sorts of stuff. So you've got all of these toys to play with right out of the box. But what's really good is the fact that you can custom create all of these things. When I first got my press key for this, I spent 2 to 3 hours creating 3 characters. And then the abilities for those characters, the armor for those characters, the trinkets for those characters, the weapons for those characters, other items that I could equip to them, and I was fine-tuning them, trying to get them right. You can do so much with the custom creator. In fact, I know I said that I wanted to create a quick follow-up video to my stream, but if you really want to see how the custom creator works in detail, go watch my stream. I feature it there in detail. So if you want to learn more about it, then go see that. But just know that as an overview, the custom creator will give you so many things to adjust. If you want to add a damage over time effect to your weapon, you can do that. If you want to change the range of your ranged weapons, you can do that, like 3 to 10 spaces, or 3 to 5, 1 to 3. If you want to add a reaction ability to your cards, so that if this happens, then this ability will activate. There's various attributes like speed and resistance and defense and all sorts of things. It's just, the sky's the limit almost. And what's cool about this is that everything is put together in such a easy to manipulate fashion. The custom creator could have been a lot more complicated than it needed to be, but it's not. And that's one of the biggest feathers in this game's cap, is the fact that it's very easy to jump into it and sort of mess around with the character creation. And yes, you'll be able to create a character within, say, 5 minutes of your first time doing it. But then, more than likely, you're going to have to go back and refine-tune things. And the reason being, I had to do this 3 times almost in my first run. I would go into combat and go, oh, wait a minute. This charge ability that I added to this card to make it more powerful, that means that I have to waste an entire turn, and then on the beginning of my next turn, that's when it activates, and then it does more damage. But the problem is that if the enemy leaves the range of the card, then the charged ability does not activate. And the enemies are actually quite smart in this. Even on the easiest difficulty, the enemies are quite challenging. So let's say you do an aimed shot with your bow, for, I think the range is like 3 to 10, whatever you want to make it, actually. And you do that. And then on the enemy's turn, he falls within, let's say, range 1 of you. When your ranger goes to use his armed or aim shot, it won't work because the range on it was 3 to 10. So I had to go back and change some of the abilities to be a bit more useful, a bit more ideal based on certain situations. The characters that I created this paladin, and I can name the classes anything I want to. I can name them dog, cat, it doesn't matter, cell phone. I could name anyone anything. It's the cards that you attach to those characters that makes them what they are. So the paladin, I created a paladin class that was very tanky, very defense heavy. All the equipment that I made for it was very defense heavy. I created like an absorb block ability that automatically absorbed damage or blocked damage as it was incoming. It was a reaction thing that I had. So yeah, once you spend enough time in the editor, you'll come to find that there's a lot of content here. There's a workshop so that you can upload your creations or download other people's creations. Just be warned that other people are probably a little bit more crude than the average person. So, yeah, you may find things that are not appropriate. Hopefully that's not the case with you. But just be warned that, as soon as you start browsing the workshop, you'll see anything there. Right? There was a unicorn and some other crazy things that I saw. You can even upload your own pictures to these cards. So you can as you're creating cards, like I created a weapon, I could import pictures for that weapon, and in addition to adding abilities to it and various attributes to it. You can add various rarities. So on the uncommon, you can name the uncommon card of that weapon. You can name the epic card of that weapon, the legendary card of that weapon. So if it's a legendary sword, you can name it Excalibur, whereas the uncommon might just be sword or something like that. And as they rank up, their abilities and their attributes also rank up. So it's so cool. So yeah, as far as the actual combat is concerned, it's quite, I don't want to say basic, but that's the part of it that's sort of like, it's okay. The problem that I have with it is that there's no undo button that I could find. So I was often misclicking things because I was supposed to first click on the enemy, then click on myself, because I wanted to fire it from the square that I was on. If you click on the enemy, it'll give you, I guess, multiple squares that you could click on, and then your character will move to that square and then shoot or attack or whatever. And if you misclick, then you may have your character moving to spaces you didn't want them to move to, and that ruins your turn. So I wish there was an undo button, and I wish that, just to avoid that whole misclicking. And there are certain attributes, like there's focus, there's stability. These are things that you'll see on these cards and you don't know what they mean. I wish that there was a mouse over system that explained what these attributes did for you. That way when you're creating your characters, you know what to expect and what they are. And likewise in combat, you know what you're gonna get should you do it, or should you play that card. So this game isn't without issues, but at the same time, it's got so much promise to it that I do recommend it. So according to the Steam store page, there's over, out of the box, 1,500 abilities, 420 items, 200 fully voiced enemies, 36 playable characters. There's campaigns, and you can even create your own campaigns as well. Endless content, game creation, so you can create your own games, like I said. Persistent gains, so as you go from run to run to run, your group earns gold. And then you can unlock new things with the gold, or you can, there's a gumdrop machine or something. And you can unlock these charms that you can equip, and they will persist and help your party out from run to run as well. And what's best is that the enemy wizard of this game is voiced by John Delancey, who is Q from Star Trek The Next Generation and Star Trek Voyager and Deep Space Nine. So, yeah, there's a lot going for this game. It's highly replayable, but I think the biggest draw of this game is the sandbox and what you can do with it. This is not going to appeal, like I said, to people that have no imagination, that just want a linear experience. That side of it, the combat, is, it's okay. It's all right. But I think the biggest thing here is creating characters, making your own story, and then fine-tuning things as you keep playing it to make your character the best that it could possibly be and the way you want it to be. And there's no cheesing either. When you're creating cards and updating characters and the like, the game will automatically balance it. So if you try to add a damage over time and a stun and a daze and add 18 effects to one card, it's going to minimize each one so that it's not super powerful. So that way you don't have to worry about balance too much, which is kind of cool. So yeah, long story short, highly recommend this one. Check it out. If you want to see more, go check out my stream. I detail it there. I did the custom creator, I did combat, I did a lot of things. So go check that out after you're done here if you have the time. If you guys haven't already subscribed to me on Twitch and YouTube, that way you can stay up to date with any new content I'm going to publish. This is Vince, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.